Hello and welcome to yet another webinar in the INSPIRE hackathon series. This time we have webinars for the Pilsen INSPIRE hackathon. I'm Bente Liljaby. I'm going to be your host in this webinar, and with me I have three excellent experts that will share their knowledge with you. Today we will be very technical, but you will get an overview as well, but mostly we will be technical. This is for you if you are a developer and you want to participate in the INSPIRE hackathon and help open data become more accessible and made to use for society at large. We do have a focus on agriculture, by the way, but it doesn't mean that other application areas are excluded. So I hope you will have some use of the information we are about to share with you. But before I start, I want to do a tour the table weather report. This is one of the trademarks of my webinars. And then afterwards, you will get to know the presenters. But the first one we do is a tour de table with the weather report. So Jovanka, where are you and what's the weather like?
Hello, so I'm in Berlin and the weather is sunny with clouds, mostly cloudy, which is surprising. Like if we take into consideration the previous days, it got really cold, so it's good.
Oh, so it's good. A nice early autumn weather.
Yes.
So, and then we move to Vincent. Where are you situated and what's the weather like?
Yeah, hello. I am in Toulouse, so south of France, and the weather is very sunny with no cloud at all. So we're very lucky today.
Well, today, according to rumors, it's very often sunny in Toulouse.
Yes, that's true.
Yes. And Yiri, last but not least, how's the weather like and where are you?
Hello, I am located 100 kilometers north of Prague, so on the Czech countryside currently. The weather is 22 degrees and partly cloudy, and yeah, much better than yesterday when it was raining, so I'm happy.
Yeah, same here. It's a little bit sunny, a little bit of clouds, but a very nice weather as opposed to yesterday when it was raining here in Norway, where I am situated, just outside Oslo, a little bit north of Oslo, on the countryside also. But so, yeah, if you can write in the chat, because we want you to interact with the speakers. This is a unique opportunity for you to ask directly to our experts. So you can start to familiarize yourself with the chat by saying who you are and what the weather is like where you are. That would be nice. Now, and that was a start of my housekeeping, actually, because we want you to ask questions. And the way you can do that is to ask the questions in the chat box, and I will read that to our speakers and we will answer them. Most of the questions we will answer at the end. We have a Q&A at the end. We will try to stay within the hour of the entire webinar, maybe a little bit earlier, depending on how active you are. The speakers will be in the order of Jovanka first, going on open search. Then we move down south to Toulouse and Vincent, and he will introduce you to the Mundi platform. And finally, we go back up north to the forest in Czechia with Yiri, and he will talk about an innovation hub. So that's the program for today. Don't hesitate to ask us questions. I will be listening and reading. So, Jovanka, we will start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and then start your presentation?
So I'm Jovanka Gulitowska. I work as a full stack engineer at Dystopian, and I can say that I'm an open source and an open data enthusiast. I've been working on Next.js since it started, so I've been involved in it from the beginning.
Excellent. So what will happen now is that Jovanka will share her presentation. The rest of us will disappear. We will disappear. The video of us will disappear. We will reappear after Jovanka has finished her presentation. So go ahead and share your presentation.
Okay, so as Bente said, I'm going to talk about OpenSearch and how we've developed it and the functionalities that we have for it in Next.js. So as I said, I worked as a full stack engineer at Dystopian, and I've been involved in Next.js since the beginning. We're, as part of the leading team, we're responsible for developing the data hub together with the other partners in the project. And we're also responsible for building data mining and discovery techniques that will help the users to find the data that they're interested in an effective way. One of the tools that we've developed for as part of Next.js and for the data hub that we're working on is the OpenSearch API. And today I'm going to talk a bit about the OpenSearch page that is available on the portal. Then we'll take a look a bit at the description documents available for OpenSearch. And then I'll talk a bit about the two-step search available through OpenSearch, and we'll see some examples with it. And then, like a last but not least, we'll talk about the OpenSearch API and how is it integrated into the Data Hub. The Data Hub provides an OpenSearch page where you can get information about OpenSearch and the Data Hub. This page basically gives an overview of how the user can access the description documents, where are they located, what kind of information they provide. Also, they can see how they can access the search endpoints. And we also provide a small section about the search parameters that are available through OpenSearch. But this area is only listing the common parameters for each collection. I'll talk about this more when I get to the two-step search part. Important part of OpenSearch are the description documents, because they're kind of like the basis from where you start your search and you get to see what the OpenSearch API provides to you, which filters can you use. So basically we can say that we have two types of description documents. One of them is this one that we see at the moment, and that's a description document for all the collections. Here we can find information about all the parameters that are available and common for the collections, and a list of collections that we have available on the portal. And the second part is a description document that is specific for a particular collection. In this case, on the slide, you can see Sentinel-1 Level 1 GRD, and the description document provides information about the parameters that are specific for this collection. So basically, for each collection, we have we have some regular parameters such as time range search, date time, and then you have some more specific ones, like in this case for Sentinel, we are adding the orbit. We are adding the ability to search through the orbit direction, then the acquisition mode, and etc. The description, as I said, the description documents are really important. So you can continue on to the next step and use the OpenSearch API to find the data sets that you need. Now let's take a look at how we're searching with the API. And for this, yes, we need to know the description documents and what they provide. So in this case, on this slide, I'm showing information about how we can filter information for a specific collection. Then the result that we get will be will list all the available data sets that we have on the data hub, but that belong to Sentinel-1 Level 1 GRD collection. And this is the first part of the searching that you're doing. The next part, and maybe this is enough, but maybe you want to get more in depth and find something more specific. And then you are then we get to talk about the second part of the two-stage. As an example here, I've added a SWOT filter to the API. So SWOT equals S3 will give us taking into consideration the collection, will only display the results for and give us the data sets that have this in common. We can even go deeper and filter by additional fields, so we can get even a lower number of data sets, so we can be more particular into what we want to know. But we also have so except for the API, we've added an open search button on the data hub in order to provide another way for the users to be able to search through the data hub. And someone finds it difficult to do the API search, and this way can use the graphical interface of the data hub and filter through the data sets. The dataset search page on the portal provides a list of filters that are available for filtering the data. So there we have a list of all the collections that we have on the portal. We have a list of providers that we're harvesting, and depending on the type of the collection that we have selected, these filters change. So if we select Sentinel-1 collection, we get the rest of the filters will accommodate this selection. So we'll get the orbit type, the SWOT, and etc. So it's easier for the user to go down and find the data sets that they need without really having to worry about the open search description documents and knowing the names of the parameters. So in this case, I have selected Sentinel-1 GRD, and we see that on the portal we have 665 data sets. And by clicking on the Open Search button, we are redirected to the Open Search API page where we get the same results. The next thing as we can do on the UI is drill down more deeper, and I've applied here additional filters like the acquisition mode and the orbit direction. And with that, I only got 45 data sets. By clicking on the Open Search button, then I'm again redirected to the Open Search API where I get the exact same results. So this is an additional way for the users that don't want to play around with the API and the description documents. They can just go on the data hub and filter the data and find what they need. I can say with the Open Search that we are providing another tool for searching through the data with using the API, but as well using the UI and the data hub as an option to find the data that the user needs. As for the future, we are improving the functionality of Open Search, and we are adding new harvesters, which are harvesting new providers, and with that, we are adding new collections to the system, to the data hub, and we are extending the database, I can say. With this, we want to provide we want to provide a better way for the users to find the data that they want, and also we are adding additional parameters and to the Open Search API, so we can do some additional filtering. Thank you for the attention.
Thank you very much, Jovanka. It's a very powerful tool, I would say, to make data interoperable. And if you have questions to Jovanka here, you are free to write it in the chat box. We can also have her answer questions after all the other presentations. So I think we are just moving on now. I don't see anybody writing. So, well, the information, the slides, your slides will be made available, right, Jovanka? We will be, yes. So we will share that. We will share it on planforall.eu webpage, where all the reports and the replay eventually also will be made available to all. So you can have the slides via that chat, that website. And you can also see it if you register here, you will also be able to get an email with the slides in it. So I still don't see anything. So I think we are ready for you, Vincent, and the Mundi platform.
Okay, hello. So I'm Vincent Sale. So I'm the Mundi project manager. I've been working in space for 10 years now. And I started developer in Toulouse. I moved to UK to work also in space as business developer and technical manager. And when I started working with Atos, I started working on Mundi, and it's been since 2017 that we are building Mundi. And Mundi is in operation for more than 1 year now. We started in June 2018, and we have now a platform that is open to all users, and we really want to make the platform fitting the needs of most users, because it's made really to be used, as I will show it next.
Excellent. So you can go ahead and share your presentation, yeah.
Okay. So yes, I will present you the Mundi platform, and I will start by a pretty general presentation with a few slides only, just to give you some context. And after, I will go in the Mundi offer, so meaning what kind of feature you will find in Mundi, and I will try to make some focus on new feature that were released a few weeks ago, and also next things that will come on the platform. And at the end, I will just give you some really simple advice on how to join Mundi in order for you to use the feature I presented before, and also to ask for new things or anything that could help you regarding a platform like Mundi. So to start the presentation, so I just remind that Mundi is one of the DIAs that is working with the European Commission and ESA. So we're handling all the Sentinel data and all the satellite, like Landsat satellite, and we have a growing data offer that is continually growing. So we use cloud in order to make this data available, and in order to have our users developing their service. So it's really a very important part. And so we try to deliver a service that will be reliable for most people, and also that can generate some business. So the central point of a DIAS is the use of EO data. So we want people to come to Mundi to combine this data, to be able to use it, to create some added value on the data, and being able to use petabyte of data with less effort in order for them to spend less time, I would say, in retrieving the data and more time in their processing and their service. So in order to do that, so we have, I would say, four pillars that we rely on. So first one, as I say, it's a robust cloud, which is handling the data and also all the services that are created by our users and by ourselves. So what is also a very important point is all the data that we have on Mundi. So we have between 6 and 7 petabytes of data that is accessible for all users for free. And we have also tools that I will talk more after, and it's also trying to answer a user's need. And we have also support that could be in different ways. So we have a technical support that is helping people, for example, to access the data efficiently using our APIs, our catalog. But we have also a business support, which means that when people want to promote a service, we have a team that is dedicated to show the service and try to find new customer of service. So as I say, one very important part of Mundi is the data. So on our website, you can explore our data very easily with a easy to use client. And through this client, you will be able to browse all the collection of data we have. So it starts with the Sentinel. So we have Sentinel 1, 2, 3, and 5P available. A special focus on Sentinel 2, where we have, I would say, the full collection and the full data since the beginning of the mission. So that's an important point. And we even had some even more L2A data. That's what you can find on ESA, because we processed our own L2A data since the beginning of the mission. Other important thing is the core services. So you can access 5 of the 6 core services currently. So some are hosted by Mundi, but others will be accessed through tools that we provide in order to have an efficient access to this data. I will talk again about this on different slides. Other missions that we are also hosted, as I say, is Landsat 7 and 8. And we have coming mission like Cosmos SkyMed, which is a SAR collection, which is coming. And also we will have very high resolution data before the end of the year. So we're working on it, and we're almost there to offer this kind of collection to our users. So we also have others data that are more supporting some services like GIS maps, and data that could help. Here it's mentioned geologic, but we are also working on a weather service which will provide some data regarding weather forecast. So here is an overview of Mundi. So now I'm going to focus on some features that are part of the Mundi offer. So first one is the Mundi Jupyter notebook. So we have an instance of a notebook running of Mundi, which is open for all our users. So we use a notebook in order to explain to people how our APIs are working. So like it was presented before, we have an open search APIs, which will help you to browse our catalog. We have also a CSW API. So all these APIs are following the standards promoted by the European Commission, which is in a way easy to switch to our service, because you will find the same standard, maybe that's the one you were using before. So other important APIs we have is OGC interfaces that are also free to use through the notebook, but also on any application you could have. It's not only on the notebook, you could use it from your computer as well. On the Jupyter notebook, you will also find example of how to use CMEMS data. So it's marine data and also atmospheric data through the CAM services. So here you have example of how to access the data and how to display it. So all these notebooks are made in order to have access to the product, but also trying to ease the fusion of data in order to combine all these sources of data to try to solve some problem you could face. So we see in this different type of data a good opportunity to bring new services. So the notebook, we see it as a prototyping tools, but it can also be a way to preparate your high processing that will come after, and it could also stay on Jupyter Notebook, because we could have some evolution to the Jupyter Notebooks that we have on Mundi that are for prototyping. But if you need to go on a different step, we can power it with Spark, for example, which will help you to do high computing, and that could be useful. And we could even set up for you a Jupyter Hub instance for your community in order for them to work on the Mundi data and have your specific space of work. So Jupyter Notebook is one of the important tools we are promoting. The other thing we work on is on an example of, I would say, of website that anybody could develop. So it's based on the Mundi APIs. We call it Mundi Explore because it's really exploring the possibilities of Mundi. So through this page, which is open, you will be able to display images. So as you can see on the screenshot here, it's a Sentinel-2 images, which was from 1st of May. So you have here the source code to do the same page on yourself. So the other thing that could be possible is see the statistic regarding all the products we have on Mundi. So here is regarding the size of the product, but you could work on a map that is displaying how much product you have on a specific area, if it's of interest for you. So here you will have help to use the good APIs to access this data. The other thing which is possible through this page, Mundi Explore, is also search for products. You will be able to use Open Search APIs or CSW in order just to look for a product. So this is very simple because we have only 5 criteria that are possible, but you could have the number of criteria you need for your application. So, and most important for this, all the source code used on this website is also shared through this page, where you will be able to copy paste the code or just have a look at the code in order to understand how we do different things. So that's a very important thing for us in order to guide people in the first steps to develop their application. So other point which is important, but I won't spend too much time on it, is that on Mundi you will find the same products that you have on the ETHA hubs. So same format and same metadata. So you will find it. So you will maybe find that the download speed is maybe better for you depending the area you are. But anyway, the product is the same. So what we try to develop as an offer is a kind of common format for all this data. So we started with Sentinel-1, bringing some products instead of having, I will say, classic TIFF, we move it to the cloud optimized GeoTIFF. And as soon as we did that, we found that people are using differently the data. They do not need to download the full product. They could access the area they need, and it lowers the traffic, and it also help people to spend more time on the processing and less time retrieving, I will say, useless pixels. So the COG format is really made in order to have efficient access to the data. And also, as you can use it on different other formats, we could generalize this approach to other format. So we know that Landsat 8, we work on it. It's pretty efficient on Landsat 8. And for Sentinel 5P is also really of interest to have this COG format. So we have the processing to do any format to COG. We know that it can really help people to access the data efficiently. So that's why it's part of our offer. Other thing that is possible to Mundi is the access to all the historical data. So when you have a Mundi account, a free Mundi account, you're able to reload. So meaning taking products from the archive to the online status, you can reload more than 300 products a month with a single account. So which can allow you to go to search for a specific area since 2014 with no problem in a single month. So meaning 300 scenes. So it's possible to do that. So if you have more needs, we could also have a dedicated plan for that. We just want the users to be aware that ETHA is changing its rolling policies. So it starts with Sentinel-1. Last year, they start to move a lot of products to the archive. So meaning you have a kind of mechanism to retrieve data that is that is limited. So if you have specific need of historical data, we really have solution in order to solve your issue. So other point that is also can be useful for some customer is the processing on demand. So meaning you wanna, for example, compute some cloud mask on a specific region for all the new data that are coming, and you want it done as soon as the data is available. Mundi could do it for you, and we have a long list of processing. So here is just example. So we have a list of processing that we can run for you and make the data available. And we can even handle your own processing and make it running for all the new data coming or for a specific period of time, having the processing running. So what we try to do in terms of cost for this service, it will be less expensive than if you do it yourself. So as we are using, I would say, our infrastructure to do that, we want to lower the cost of this kind of processing, handling the processing for you and doing it for you. So last point regarding the Mundi offer is that we have also a marketplace where we present all the features that I talk about, and this marketplace is growing also with I will say applications that are coming from partners and developed between Atos and these partners. So for example, we have a data cube that arrived in September. So it's a work between Atos and Meo, an Italian company. So for now, this data cube is in trial access for all Mundi users, so you can have a look at it through the Mundi website, and you can even work with either the API or the GUI, as you want to do it. So this will allow you to do some temporal analysis and some graphical some figures, on specific collection. So for free, you can do that on, I think there is 3 collections for now. So it's Sentinel-2, L1C, and L2A that is available, and also Landsat 8 collection. So this is accessible since the beginning of September. And the other item in the market that is coming is a Sentinel Hub. So maybe you're familiar with the Sentinel Hub that is already on. So for now, it's based on data that are on Amazon. So here we talk about the Sentinel Hub, which will have full access to the Mundi data, and even boarding the future called Bring Your Own Data. So meaning you could put your data on a bucket on Mundi and expose this data to anybody which needs it, or for yourself because you want to access your data through OGC interfaces easily, only selecting a specific area of interest. So this is fully possible. So the Sentinel Hub is not for now displayed on the marketplace, but you can already ask for a trial access to it in order to see how it works. So yeah, here is an example of what you can get from the Sentinel Hub APIs, different layers. On a very short time, you can have processed data very quickly. So to join Mundi, I will go quickly on this topic. So you just have to go on our website. You click on register on the top right side of the page. And after, you will be able to explore our marketplace, where you will find what I talk about. So here you can see the data cube, the notebook, and all the collection I talk about. And you will also be able to explore the data through our tool in order to see if the data you are looking for is there. So as we have most of the data that is available on the hub, you will find it. And here you can also have a way of, I will say, the command, the API command to retrieve the data through the GUI. So it's really helping to go from the interface to the APIs. So you can try all I talk about on this URL, so mundiwebservice.com. And if you have any question, I'm happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vincent. You have done a lot of work since the last time I saw a presentation on the Mundi platform. So
it's good to hear that. Yeah.
Um, so, if you have any questions to Vincent about Mundi, if you saw something interesting that you would like to try, please ask a question now in the chat box. Meanwhile, Vincent, I am wondering, do you have so you have a few users already on your platform? Is there any specific field of applications and topics that seem to be popular?
So for instance, we have 1,300 users register, which is a good thing. And I will say that we have between 30 and 40 active users which have a cloud account and using our data efficiently. So what we see that people want a very short delay between the time that the data is available on the ESA hub and the time we need in order to have it available of Mundi. So we had in the last months to do a lot of effort in order to shorten this delay for availability. So that was a demand that comes a lot from our user because some people want to do services that are aimed for emergency. So this time is very important. So during the summer, we reach a very important point where the data, most of our collection is available on Mundi in less than 25 minutes. So I will say that 85% of the data is available in less than 25 minutes, which is for us very important. To go lower than 30 minutes was our objective, and since this summer, it's something that is possible on Mundi.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah, so, but in this context now, so this is a unique opportunity, the way I see it, for the Pilsen INSPIRE hackathon participants to come and use your platform, because for the participant, this will be free, right? They can play in with your platform, the tools and whatever for free right now.
Yeah, they can play with about all the future I show is free. Some are, I will say, in a trial version, which means that at one point you will feel a bit limited. What we do for hackathon, most of the time we have a specific instance of Jupyter Hubs, so Jupyter Notebook launch specifically for the hackathon with very good, I would say, processing capacity and a good memory, because the notebook you have for free, I would say the processing is not, it's not designed to do very high processing. It's more for prototyping. So when you are in a hackathon context, you will need maybe high processing capacity. That's why we have this specific notebook made for hackathon.
Right. So this is again, you underline what I'm saying. This is a unique opportunity to get some extra service from Mundi then to test out different ideas. I mean, it's also for them looking at it from your side, having people play with your platform is also providing important information back to you, feedback on the functionality. Are there any specific area that you would encourage participants to test for you?
So one point that talking a lot is the Jupyter Notebook is very important for us because we sharing here some code to access the data and even some IDs to highlight some. For example, when you access the climate service of ESA, if you look at the last years, you see that the temperature are going higher and higher. So we try to share with our customers this kind of important facts on data, and we have some requests coming from the help desk for more new representation of this data. So I think having people working on this visualization of this big amount of data is pretty important, just to extract, I would say, important information. So I would recommend people to work on this, processing this high number of data and trying to extract, I will say, a simple information, but simple but very important as well.
Yeah. So, for instance, the topic of climate. So you mentioned climate data. So the topic of climate and agriculture, for instance, could be a very interesting test case then
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't see any more questions in the chat. You are shy today. It's still not too late. You can continue to write questions to both Jovanka and to Vincent when we are now starting getting ready for the next presenter, where we will look at a digital innovation hub. So I'll introduce yourself then, Jiri, and let us know a little bit about you before we start your presentation.
Hello, good afternoon once more. My name is Jiří Kvapil. I have started working with Inspire many years ago when it was at the very beginning. Since that time, I am in Inspire, spatial data, satellite data, Copernicus, and many related projects. Yeah. And today I would like to tell you something about our new platform. So I will switch to my presentation.
Excellent. So he will share his screen. Let me get a presentation from Jiri.
I believe now you can see it.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
So, yeah, thank you. So we have started working on Agriculture Digital Innovation Hub. It's a set of tools which should connect people who are interested in agriculture, who have some needs, or on the other side provide some services that they know about each other. It will be a portal where you can find an information, you can share your thesis if you are a student, or if you have any need for a problem to be solved, then you can ask someone to have a look at it, and for example it can become a topic for a new diploma or PhD thesis. So it's a platform for meeting people who are dealing with agriculture, who can share new ideas and new views. And one part of it is also very technical, which I would like to introduce you today, is really the Innovation Hub, which will provide a set of tools and data you can use to develop innovative agriculture applications and share your knowledge with each other, and just to get inspired by developing new applications, having new ideas, and collaborating with our colleagues. We have just started. It's very new, brand new project. It's evolving. So now I have the opportunity to inform about this Innovation Hub for the very first time. It's built on a scalable architecture of a cloud, and of course, on top of open source technologies. We believe they have a future, and very bright future, because if we all know that if we compare situation 15 or even 10 years ago and now, the evolution of open source technologies is astonishing. It's amazing. 15 years ago, I wouldn't dare to rely solely on open source technologies. Nowadays, I can do it easily. It will be the Digital Innovation Hub, even for the developers. It will be completely available via web interface, so you don't need any access to server to make something. It will be based on a technology which runs on top of your web browser, so you can get there easily without any VPN or any need for a special communication channel. And you will have an opportunity to test all the tools during Pilsen hackathon. If we look further how it's composed. So if it's built on a cloud, so down there are physical servers which are connected in a cloud, in a virtual cloud, which is running on OpenStack, and on top of it there are several applications, and one of these applications is just this agriculture digital innovation hub. There are of course other applications, portals, other servers, whatever. So we are building our new all new tools we are building on top of clouds, and we are changing just to cloud solution because it's flexible and it's the trend of today's, and it has proven that it's working much better than managing one-to-one relation, one application to one server. So you can easily add some more power if you need it. For example, for hackathon, we would need certainly much more power for the Jupyter Hub, which is powering the whole thing. So we just add some more power using OpenStack very easily by a few clicking. We don't need to do anything with the real hardware because OpenStack will take care of it. How it looks like from the technical point of view, it's built on Jupyter Hub, which is maintained, or which is based on Anaconda manager, which is managing R packages and Python packages, which can be used in Jupyter Hub. Of course, we have installed all libraries or dependencies you would need to use together with remote sensing data. For example, for R, there is a support to GDAL, there is support to remote sensing data processing, and so on. So even though R is originally a statistical software, currently it is also a very strong tool to remote sensing data processing, and even machine learning tools there. And similar tools we also have in Python. So you can, if you run Jupyter Hub, you can select whether you want to work in R environment or in Python environment. And in both environments, we have tried to prepare tools which are needed to work with Earth observation and also spatial data. Here, if I look at the interface of Jupyter Hub, so you can either run R or Python notebook and start the kernel. Here you can see the R kernel. So very easily on some test data, you can see that it can plot. It can even plot the data as specified by the command above. It's just for demonstration because it's really brand new. So we didn't process any big data or big amounts of spatial data, and we are still building it, and we plan to run it properly for the Pilsen hackathon. So it's just work being done and under development currently, but it's already working. You can see the thing how it's developing. Similarly, you have access to server terminal where it's running. So as I was saying, you don't need to have any special communication channel to the server, no VPN, no SSH connection. You are just okay with your normal browser, and using HTTPS, you can even work on a server. For very quick overview, we have prepared some quick and dirty application where you can see the visualization. There is a database behind. In the database, you have information which is there about Sentinel-2 data. I mean, the nomenclature of the sheet, the track, amount of clouds, and dates of image, and then you can see that using our tools we have calculated NDVI indices. We have prior to NDVI, we have of course calculated L2A images because we have been downloading a level 1C without atmospheric correction. So we just wanted to try even module on atmospheric correction, and you can download full size image under the links in the middle NDVI, and also the upper link is to source image in level 2A processing level. So this was the overview as where we are now. For the future, as I was saying, it's really brand new, and still we have many ideas. We are planning to publish results using OGC services. So we are planning to use map server for that. We also are planning to enable web upload of data to process using Layman, which is our own development. It's built on top of GeoServer API, and it enables to upload the data to the server without having, or we don't need to have access to it again using REST API. There are many opportunities and ideas on integration of other tools like QGIS, Graph, Airflow Toolbox, and many others, Saga, maybe, whatever. We are also planning to integrate metadata with our Metska catalog. There's also an option to integrate sensor data. For example, on the fields, there can be some sensors on humidity or whatever, so they are sending data very frequently, so you can combine these in situ data with satellite images for having another nice applications. There can be ideas on geoprocessing services, Apexes, and so on and so on. So there are really many ideas. This is just for the very beginning, and we're looking forward for the Pilsen INSPIRE hackathon to get some more ideas from participants, because that's why we are doing this. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Edie. That was really very informative, and it should be an inspiration also for the potential the developers. So let me see. We will turn on our cameras again. So a few words about the INSPIRE hackathon. Please ask questions. Now is your chance to ask questions in the chat box. Meanwhile, I will say a few words about the INSPIRE hackathon and how you can participate. Well, I have provided the link to more description about this Pilsen INSPIRE hackathon, and at the bottom of that page, the web page on planforall.eu, you will see a link where you can register. Just the practical information there. Now, this INSPIRE hackathons is a series of hackathons, and it's for specialists or experts of all ages. So it could be a young student, or it could be the seasoned expert that we also have in the community. Now, this particular webinar, just to mention that, has been supported by several Horizon 2020 projects. More specifically, Jovanka is representing the NextGeos project, Vincent is representing the EO for Agri project, and Jiri, the Smart Agri Hub. So, and this is one of part of the concept of the INSPIRE hackathons is to make a space, to create a space where all these different investments that, for instance, the Horizon 2020 is representing, has a space to where we can discuss across the different projects. So one of the things we've heard all over today is the Jupyter Notebook. Definitely we can learn from each other and our experiences there. The applications or the implementation, of the Open Search API is another example. And if you are interested in these kind of topics and themes, you are more than welcome to join this community, the Inspire Hackathon communities. And your first chance is now during the virtual part of the hackathon, which is going on right now. So these webinars, these educational webinars, are part of the Inspire Hackathon concept. You can join. There are currently 2 so-called challenges on the website. You can create your own challenge. For instance, if one example that I think I would love to see somebody do was to develop a pilot for, using OpenSearch, obviously, on the Next.js platform, and then transport it, deploy it on the Mundi platform. That would be an awesome test of the interoperability of what we are making, just to mention one example. So if you have ideas like this, please create your own team. Just go to the planforall.eu webpage, and the link is in the chat box, and get started. Yes, I don't see any more questions. Do you, any of you speakers, do you have anything to add? I will make a tour de table before we end this webinar. So we start with you again, Jovanka. Anything particular, any challenges you would like to see, any tests of the OpenSearch API?
Your idea really seems interesting. So yeah, I've been participating in the Inspire hackathons for a while now. So maybe we can do it this time as well.
Excellent. Yes. So this is also, you know, in this webinar, there you all, the 3 of you here, are representing developers communities, and you are free to start to play with this across the projects within yourselves. So among yourselves, sorry, not within. Vincent, do you have any comments, ideas that you want to inspire people to address?
No, anything here with us 3 presenting Next.js platform and Jerry about the agriculture thematic. So we all going on. I mean, it's part of the same context where we try to help building services, explaining how to address the EO data, how to explore it. So yeah, I think it's going on the right way. And as I say, hackathon is also something we would like to promote in order to bring this new idea coming. So happy to be part of it. Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. And you, Yuri, how about you? Any ideas?
I would like to, yeah, sure, thank you. I would like to say one thing. Do not fear, do not hesitate to participate. You don't have to be an excellent coder, whatever. Doesn't matter. Just come and try to do something. You don't need to write an application. You can do some visualization, mock-up, whatever. So don't worry.
Exactly, yes. So, and the good thing, if you are a young student and just have, you know, you're about to learn about the Jupyter notebook, for instance, this is an opportunity for you to test, and you will meet other people that are more advanced than you. And this is exactly one of the goals for us, to have this transfer and exchange of knowledge. So with that, folks, I thank the speakers so much. Excellent presentations. Even though I'm not doing this hardcore coding, I was inspired. It felt like I would like to do testing of some APIs. And see you the next time at the next webinar. And hope you sign up for the Pilsen hackathon. Bye bye for now.